Hi everyone, and thanks for joining this online training session where we're going to be introducing Swingvy's latest integration with Xero accounting software. I'm Katie Ash, I'm part of the marketing team here at Swingvy, and with me on the call today we have Joseph Kim, our product manager who's going to be taking you through this training, and also Nicole Chung, Swingvy's head of payroll. Joseph's going to be showing you how you can turn on the integration and then how you can connect Swingvy Payroll with your accounting software, your Xero accounting software through the Swingvy platform. So if during this demo you do have any questions about the Xero integration or about Swingvy Payroll, then you can use the Q&A section just at the bottom of your screen. You can enter your questions in there, and at the end of the training session, Joseph and Nicole will be able to answer these questions. So thanks again for joining, and Joseph, over to you.
Thanks, Katie. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph, and I'm a product manager at Swingvy. So today, I will walk you through on how Swingvy is integrated to Xero. Before I begin, I would like to highlight that this feature, Swingvy integrated with Xero, is currently in closed beta, hence it's not open for public yet. But if you would like to access this feature, you can do so. And if you want to learn on how to do it, please stay until the end of the call, as Katie will show you on how to enable the feature. So I will go ahead and share my screen to walk you through on how you can integrate to Xero and how you can push your payroll information to Xero account. So I have signed into my Swingvy account over here. And if you have your feature, Swingvy Xero integration feature enabled, you can go to settings and you should be able to see this integrations menu. If the menu is not displayed on your side, then please do contact us, as we need to enable it in the backend. So you can click on integrations menu and you should be able to see Xero. And please click on configure integration to connect your Swingvy account to your Xero account. If you have not connected your Swingvy account to your Xero account, then up on the upper right-hand corner, you should be able to see this button, Connect to Xero. If you click on this, Swingvy will direct you to Xero. If you have already signed in to Xero, you should be able to see this page. But if you have not signed in, then you can sign in to Xero and then come to this page. If under your Xero account, if you have more than one organization, then please select the correct organization and then click on Allow Access to give Swingvy permission to access your Xero account. Then once that's done, Xero will send you back to Swingvy. And once you're back in the Swingvy, this will be the first page you should be seeing. So over here, you can configure your integration with Xero. There are two parts to this. First part is to configure how to structure your payroll data when you're sending your payroll information to Xero. And the second section would be mapping your payroll items to chart of accounts in your Xero account, as well as contact to group payroll items into different bills. First, I will show you on how you can set up the integration section. You can click on the edit button on the upper right-hand corner, then it will enable the edit mode. There are two types of configurations that you have to do. First is type of mapping, and the second is track by. For type of mapping, there are two options, net salary and basic salary. Depending on which option you select, you'll see different payroll items in the list below under payroll item mapping. For me, I will go ahead and select net salary, and track by is used on how you want to break down each of the payroll items. So if you select by company, there will be one row for each payroll item, whereas if you select by department, each of the payroll items will be broken down into departments configured within Swingvy. So for me, I will select by company. And once you're done, you can click on save to save your configuration. And second step is payroll item mapping. Since I have selected net salary for type of mapping configuration, under payroll item, I can see net salary and employees' contribution of the statutories and employers' contribution of statutories. In the same way, you can click on edit button to enable the edit mode. So here you can map each of your payroll items to your accounts you have configured in your Xero account, as well as contact in Xero. If you want to see your list of chart of accounts in your Xero account, you can sign into your Xero, and on top you can click on accounting menu and click on chart of accounts. And here you should be able to see all the accounts that you have configured within your Xero account. So prior to this session, I have mapped all the payroll items to corresponding Xero accounts. And Xero Contact is used to group payroll items into different bills. In this case, I have mapped net salary to a contact called payroll Swingvy, and PCB, employee contribution to LHDN, and so on and so forth. To find the list of contacts in your Xero account, you can sign into your Xero account, and on the top menu, there's this menu called Contact. And if you click on All Contacts submenu, then you can see the complete list of your contacts. So all the contacts you have in your Xero account will be displayed under this drop-down list. So once you have done this, you can click on Save to save your mapping information. Once you have configured integration sections and payroll item mapping, you're ready to send your payroll information to your Xero account. So in order to push your payroll information to Xero, you can go to Payroll in Swingvy. And once you have the feature enabled, you should be able to see this menu called Send to Xero. There are actually two ways to access this page. One is by click on this menu, or once you have completed your run payroll, once it's on step 3, you should be able to see this link to Send to Xero menu. And on Send to Xero page, there are 2 tabs. First one is Send to Xero, and the second one is History. So under Send to Xero tab, you can see the list of all the payrolls that you have ran, and you can send the payrolls to Xero by clicking on the button called Send to Xero. And under History, you can see the history records of sending payroll information to Xero. So every time you click on Send to Xero button to send your payroll information to Xero, there will be 1 record logged on this page. So now I will go back to Send to Xero tab to show you how you can send your payroll information to Xero. So if you look at the list, there are 5 columns. Payroll period represents the period of your payroll. So I have payrolls from March 2020 until September 2020. And total payments represents the sum of all payments that occurred during the period. And Xero organization is the name of the Xero organization that you have linked your Swingvy account to. And status represents whether you have sent the corresponding payroll to Xero or not. If the status is sent, that means you have sent the payroll information to Xero. If the status is not sent, that means you have not sent your payroll information to Xero. So this is for your tracking purposes. And the last one is Send to Xero. So as you can see, for some payroll periods, the button is enabled, whereas other payrolls periods, the button is disabled. The reason why the button is disabled for payroll periods from April to July is because you have not completed your payroll. Hence, you don't have any data to send to Xero. But payroll for March, August, and September, I have completed, and I have data ready to be sent to Xero. And if you look at September 2020 payroll, even though the data has been sent to Xero, I can send it again, because Swingvy does not request for permission to manipulate or delete any of your data in Xero. What Swingvy can do is only to create new information. So you cannot, so even after you send it once, you can send it multiple times. So I will go ahead and send September information to Xero again. So if you click on this button, you can see this confirmation message. Once you have read through, if you're sure that you want to send your payroll information to Xero, you can simply click on Send to Xero. Depending on the status of your network, it takes as short as 2 seconds to several seconds. Once the data is sent, you can go back to your Xero account, click on Business, and navigate to a page called Bills to Pay. Once you're in Bills to Pay, if you go to Draft Status Bills, you can see 4 bills that Swingvy has created. The reason why Swingvy created 4 different bills is because I have mapped payroll items to 4 different contacts on integration settings page. So I will navigate back to the settings page to show you how I have configured payroll items and contacts. As you can see, net salary has been mapped to contact called payroll Swingvy, PCB employee to LHDN, EPF employee employer to EPF, and SOXO and EIS to contact called SOXO, and HRDF, Zakat to payroll Swingvy. So there are 4 different contacts I have mapped to. Hence, that is the reason why we have created 4 different bills for each contact. So if I open up bill from payroll Swingvy, there is net salary. HRDF and Zakat are not populated because there is no HRDF Zakat in my September payroll. In the same way, if you open up any of the other bills, you can see the payroll items that you have mapped to the contact. So for LHDN, I have mapped PCB employee. That's why you can see the amount of PCB employee under this bill from LHDN. So I will navigate back to Bills to Pay and delete all these bills I've created to show you one more flow. Next, what I will do is I will change track by settings from by company to by department. So as I mentioned, what track by does is it will break down each of the payroll items depending on your configuration. In this case, by department. So what Swingvy will do is for each payroll item, we will break down into different records for different departments. And in this case, I will try to change the contact to 1 contact. Once you're done, you can go back to payroll and navigate to send to Xero And I will go ahead and send my September payroll to 0 again. So once the data has been pushed successfully, you should be able to see this green message on the upper right-hand corner. So once you have seen that message, you can go to your Xero, go back to business menu, and bills to pay. And every time Swingvy pushes payroll information, it will create a bill in draft status. So you can easily find the bills under draft tab. As you can see, Swingvy has created only one bill called Payroll Swingvy because I have changed my mapping settings. And if you open up Payroll Swingvy, you can see that each of the payroll items have been broken down into different departments. So net salary, for example, net salary has been broken down into 4 departments: management, finance, marketing, human resources, because in my September payroll, the employees were from these 4 different departments. So Swingvy gives you flexibility to control how you want to break down each of the details and how you want to group your payroll items into different bills. And that's the end of the presentation.
Great, thank you very much, Joseph. We have had a question come through, and just a reminder to the rest of the attendees, if you do have any questions for Joseph or Nicole, just click on the Q&A button at the footer of the Zoom window and you'll be able to add your questions in there. So first question, we can send this one to Nicole. It's, what if I send the wrong payroll to Xero? So the person is asking if they can revoke or undo a payroll once it's been sent to Xero.
Yeah, the answer is yes. Yeah, because we know that sometimes mistake or amendment is needed when we have posted to the Xero. All right. So in payroll, as long as you have not finalized your month end, so if you still have some amendment that you want to do with your current month, you can still redo your payroll and resubmit the payroll item to the Xero. So as what Joseph has explained, all the bill created in Xero, the status is shown as draft. All right. As long as you are not approve it, then it will not take account into your Xero accounting. Yeah. So you can always send the multiple payroll for the same month over and over again until you have finalized the final one.
Great. Thanks, Nicole. And another question that's come through for Joseph, it's just if you could explain again, what is Xero Contact?
So the list of contacts are configured within your Xero account. So as I've shown you just now, you can navigate to your contacts on top menu and then click on all contacts to see all the complete list of your contacts. So what Swingvy does is Swingvy will leverage on your contact information to group your payroll items to different different Xero bills.
Okay. And another question, maybe we'll send this one back to Nicole. Oh, actually one for you, Joseph, that's just come through again. What is track by? So I think this is on a similar vein.
Yes. So you can control your track by settings. Under HR Hub, under settings, you can see integrations menu, and we can go into configure integration page under Xero. On the top section, there's a menu called track by. So track by information configuration is used to break down each payroll items within the bill. So for instance, this example I showed you earlier, they have each of the payroll items have been broken down into different departments so that you can track the spendings for each of the departments. So you can track the spendings by each department. If you do not wish to track the spendings for each department, you can simply change the track by settings to by company. Then what Swingvy will do is it will consolidate all the information to one record for each payroll item under one bill. So the example would be this one. Unlike the previous bill I showed you, net salary has been consolidated into one record within a bill. This is what bill looks like when you have configured your track by as by company.
All right, great, thank you. And then the other final question that we have through, and this one can be for Nicole to answer, and it is, what is the difference between net salary and basic salary?
It depends on the accounting practice that the company which they wish to adopt to. So most of the company, they will go by the net salary. It means that it will just capture the net pay from the employee ends. All right. So it will be simpler. So you just need to define the net salary and also the statutory, which you have to map to your Xero accounting. But for some cases, we also provide the basic salary. It means that it will break down to every individual item in your payroll. So for instance, like for the basic salary, it will be captured under wages and salary. That will be the default account. But how about if you have claims, all right, which you are using Swingvy claims, where you want to capture in the payroll and you want to categorize it as a different accounting code, then you can use the basic item category to further define for those claims you want to allocate to a respective accounting in your Xero. So that will give you a more detailed setup with the basic tracking. Yeah, so it depends on the company practice. So we will cater for both scenarios.
All right, great. Thanks, Nicole. All right, so that covers all of the questions. Oh, sorry, no, there's one more that's just come through. For you, Joseph, how do I try Xero integration? My account, they cannot find it in their account.
Yeah, so this feature, Swingvy Xero Integration feature, is currently in closed beta, so it's not open for public. So if you do not have access to this feature yet, then you won't be able to see this menu called integrations under settings. So at the end of the call, Katie will show you how you can enable this feature.
Yes, I'm actually going to just share this right now. So that answers all the questions for today. So if you can see my screen right now, I am sharing a QR code. It would be great if you could take a screenshot of this or take a photo with your phone, because this is the link where you can go and actually request access to this integration within your Swingvy account. So if you would like to use the Xero and Swingvy payroll integration, please go here, fill in the survey, and the team is going to set that up for you. Of course, if you need any support at any time, our team is always available, so you can reach out to our customer support team. And after this call, we'll also be sharing with you the recording of this webinar or this demo through email, so that you can go back and watch on demand and follow the steps that Joseph took you through at your own pace. So that brings us to the end of our session today. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Joseph, and thank you for Nicole for sharing this with this group. And yeah, and hopefully that you enjoy using this integration.
Swingvy.